Welcome back to Project Taqif. Today we are starting with next chapter. Chapter 6, People's Resistance Against British before 1857. The 1857 revolt is often seen as the first major show of resentment. But that is a misconception. Before 1857, the fires of resistance were already burning. The British East India Company faced a century of unrest. It was a building resentment, an angry response to an alien rule. This resistance manifested in several bouts. It happened in different regions. It involved different groups of people, from the urban riots of Benares to the fierce hill battles of the tribal belts. It was a struggle of the displaced, the exploited, and the ignored. Today, we peel back the layers of time. We examine the genesis of this people's resistance. We will see how different sections of society converged on one objective. That objective was to end the British rule. The backdrop of resentment. Most of us think of the 1857 revolt as the first major show of resentment. It was against the British, specifically against the rule of the East India Company. However, there were many incidents before 1857. They indicated that all was not well. There was a building resentment against the alien rule. This resentment manifested itself in several bouts of resistance. It involved different groups of people. It occurred across different regions of India. Defining people's resistance. In the context of people's resistance, the word people is broad. It encompasses several sections of Indian society. All were affected by the alien rule. We see the peasants and the artisans. We see the tribals and the ruling classes. These classes were sometimes active and sometimes dispossessed. Military personnel were involved. This included those under the company and the demobilized soldiers of ex-rulers. Religious leaders, both Hindu and Muslim, also fought. They fought for the protection of their interests. At times they fought separately. At times they fought together. Consider the examples of urban movements. The agitation in Benares in 1810 against a house tax. The Surat riots in 1814 against the salt duty. The rising in Bareilly in 1816 against police and municipal taxes. In these, people from the lower strata fought together. Artisans, petty shopkeepers, and the urban poor. They fought alongside the prosperous urban gentry. Their interests differed as each had different grievances, but they converged on a common objective: to end the British rule.
The three broad forms. According to Bipan Chandra, people's resistance took three broad forms: civil rebellions, tribal uprisings, and peasant movements. We also consider military revolts as a form of people's resistance. These involved Indians employed in the company's forces. This makes the study of people's resistance more comprehensive. The genesis of civil resistance. In pre-colonial India, protests against rulers and officials were not uncommon. High land revenue demand was a factor. Corrupt practices and the hard attitude of officials were others. However, the establishment of colonial rule had a much more annihilative effect. It affected the Indians as a whole. There was no one to hear their grievances, no one to pay attention to their problems. The company was merely interested in extracting revenue. Colonial law and the judiciary safeguarded the interest of the government and its collaborators, the landlords, the merchants, and the moneylenders. Thus, the people were left with no options. They chose to take up arms and defend themselves. Defining civil uprisings. The word civil encompasses everything which is not related to defense or military. Here, we include uprisings led by specific groups: deposed native rulers or their descendants, former zamindars, landlords, and polygars. In South India, polygars were holders of territory, or palyam. These were granted by the rulers, mainly the Nayakas. This was in return for military service and tribute. Ex-retainers and officials of conquered kingdoms joined. Sometimes, religious leaders led the way. Mass support came from rack-rented peasants. Unemployed artisans and demobilized soldiers joined. At the center, however, were erstwhile power-wielding classes. Major causes of civil uprisings. Under company rule, there were rapid changes in the economy and administration. These changes went against the people. Several zamindars and polygars lost control over their land. They lost their revenues. They had personal scores to settle with the new rulers. The ego of traditional zamindars was hurt. They were sidelined in rank by government officials. They were replaced by a new class of merchants and moneylenders. The ruin of Indian handicraft industries was a massive blow. It impoverished millions of artisans. Their misery was compounded by the disappearance of traditional patrons. The princes, chieftains, and zamindars were gone. The priestly classes also instigated hatred. Religious preachers, pundits, and Maulvis were affected. They had been dependent on the landed elite. The fall of feudal lords directly affected the priestly class. Finally, the foreign character of the British rulers. They always remained alien to this land. Their contemptuous treatment of native people hurt Indian pride. General characteristics. These uprisings represented common conditions though separated in time and place. The semi-feudal leaders were backward-looking. Their outlook was traditional. Their basic objective was to restore earlier forms of rule and social relations. These were the result of local causes and grievances. They were localized in their consequences. Chronology of important civil uprisings. 1. Sannyasi Revolt 1763 to 1800. The disastrous famine of 1770 and the harsh economic order compelled them. A group of sannyasis in eastern India fought the British yoke. Originally peasants, they were joined by dispossessed zamindars and disbanded soldiers. They raided company factories and treasuries. Warren Hastings subdued them only after prolonged action. It featured equal participation of Hindus and Muslims. It is sometimes referred to as the Fakir Rebellion. Leaders: Majnoon Shah, Chirag Ali, Musa Shah, Bhavani Pathak, and Devi Chaudharani. Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay's Anandamath is based on this revolt. He also wrote the novel Devi Chaudharani. 2. Revolt in Midnapur and Dhalbhum 1766-74. The English took hold of Midnapur in 1660. In 1772, a new land revenue system was introduced. The harmonious scenario changed. Zamindars of Midnapur sided with the Riots against English officials. The Zamindars of Dhalbhum, Manbhum, Raipur and Panchat were involved. Also, Jhati Buni, Karnagar and Bagri. These regions were in the jungle mahals. They were dispossessed of their zamindaris by the 1800s. Leaders: Damodar Singh and Jagannath Dhal. 3. Revolt of Moamaryas 1769-99. A challenge to the Ahom kings of Assam. The Moamaryas were low-caste peasants following Aniruddha Deva. Their rise was similar to low-caste groups in North India. Their revolts weakened the Ahoms and opened doors for others. In 1792, the king of Darang, Krishna Narayan, revolted with Barkandazes. These were demobilized soldiers of Muslim armies. The Ahom ruler had to request British help. The Moamaryas made Bhatiapar their headquarters. Rangpur and Jorhat were the most affected regions. The kingdom fell to a Burmese invasion and then British rule. 4. Gorakhpur, Basti and Bahraich, 1781. Warren Hastings needed to meet war expenses. He involved English officers as izaradars or revenue farmers in Awadh. Major Alexander Haney secured the izara for 22 lakh rupees. It was a secret experiment to see how much surplus money was accessible. Haney's oppression turned the flourishing region panic-stricken. In 1781, zamindars and cultivators rose in revolt. Haney's subordinates were killed or besieged. Haney was eventually dismissed. 5. Revolt of Raja of Vijayanagaram, 1794. In 1758, a treaty was made to oust the French from the northern Sarkars. The English went back on their word to honor the treaty. The company demanded a tribute of 3 lakh rupees from Vijay Rama Raju. They asked him to disband his troops. The Raja refused and rose in revolt. He died in a battle at Padmanabham in 1794. 6. Revolt of Dhundia in Bednore, 1799-1000. Dhundia Bagh was a local Maratha leader. Converted to Islam by Tipu, he was released after Seringapatnam fell. He organized a force of anti-British elements. He instigated disappointed princes to fight. He was killed in September 1000 by forces under Wellesley. 7. Kerala Varma Pallasi Raja, 1797-1005, known as Kerala Simham or the Lion of Kerala. He was the de facto head of Kottayam in Malabar. The Third Anglo-Mysore War violated a 1790 agreement. His uncle Veera Varma was appointed Raja and levied exorbitant taxes. Pallasi Raja led mass peasant resistance using guerrilla warfare. In 1000, a dispute over Wayanad started insurgent warfare. He organized Nayars, Mapilas and Pathans. He died in a gunfight at Mavilatodu in 1005. 8. Civil rebellion in Awadh, 1799. Wazir Ali Khan was replaced by his uncle Sadat Ali Khan too.
In 1799, he killed British resident George Frederick Cherry, known as the Massacre of Banaras. His army was defeated by General Erskine. He was eventually extradited from Jaipur and confined at Fort William. 9. Uprisings in Ganjam and Gumsur, 1800, 1835–37. Strikara Bhanj refused to pay revenues in 1797 and rebelled in 1800. His son Dhananjaya forced him to leave but later rebelled himself. Dhananjaya rebelled a second time in 1835 over arrears. The struggle lasted until Dura Bisai was arrested in 1837. The zamindari of Gumsur was forfeited. 10. Uprisings in Palamu, 1800–1802. Complicated by agrarian landlordism and the feudal system. Bhukhan Singh, a Chero chief, rebelled in 1800. Colonel Jones camped for 2 years to suppress it. Bhukhan Singh died in 1802. 11. Polygas Revolt, 1895–1805. Stiff resistance in Teneveli, Ramanathapuram, Sivaganga and Madurai. Resentment over the Nawab of Arcot giving management to the company in 1781. Kattabomman Nayakan led the first revolt. He was betrayed by the Raja of Pudukottai and hanged. The second phase began in 1801 when prisoners escaped Palamkota fort. Umathurai joined the Marudus led by Marudu Pandyan. The fort of Panjalankuruchi was razed. In North Arcot, Polygas rebelled over the loss of Kaval fee rights. 12. Uprising in Biawani, 1809. Jats of Haryana fortified themselves and resisted. A brigade with a battering ram was needed to suppress them. 13. Diwan Velu Thampi's revolt, 1808–1809. Harsh subsidiary alliance conditions in Travancore led to arrears. The resident meddled in state affairs. Velu Thampi rose with Nayar troops. Issued the Kundara proclamation to oust the British. He killed himself to avoid capture. 14. Disturbances in Bundelkhand, 1808–12. Bundela chiefs resisted from nearly 150 forts. Lakshman Dawa and Darya Singh were key leaders. Gopal Singh eluded the British for 4 years. The British used Ikarnamas to bind chieftains. 15. Parla Khemedi outbreak, 1813–34. Resistance from zamindars like Narayan Dev in Ganjam. George Russell pacified the region by 1834. 16. Kutch Rebellion, 1816–1832. Maharaja Bharamal II versus chieftains. British interference led the Raja to raise Arab and African troops. The company eventually had to follow a conciliatory policy. 17. Rising at Bareilly, 1816. Immediate cause imposition of a police tax, led by Mufti Muhammad Aiwaz. A scuffle occurred after police injured a woman. Armed Muslims rose for the defense of the faith. 18.
Upsurge in Hathras, 1817. Dayaram had a strong base in Hathras fort. He failed to pay arrears and harbored fugitives. He eventually submitted for a pension. 19. Paika Rebellion, 1817. Paikas were traditional landed militia of Odisha. Resented the loss of power and extortionist revenue policy. Bakshi Jagabandhu Vidyadhar led the army. Jagabandhu surrendered in 1825. 20. Waghera Rising, 1818–1820. Waghera chiefs of Okha Mandal took up arms. They were against alien rule and the Gaikwad of Baroda. 21. Ahom Revolt, 1828. British did not withdraw from Assam after the Burma War. Rebellion led by Gomdhar Konwar. Maharaja Purandar Singh Narendra took over Upper Assam. 22. Surat Salt Agitations, 1840s. Attacks on Europeans in 1844 over salt duty. Measure withdrawn. Resisted Bengal Standard Weights and Measures in 1848. 23. Kolhapur and Savantwadi revolts. Gatkaris rose in revolt after being disbanded in 1844. Savantwadi area saw multiple revolts. 24. Wahhabi and Kuka movements. Wahhabi, Islamic revivalist movement. Patna was a main center. Kuka, founded by Bhagat Jawahar Mal, led by Baba Ram Singh, promoted Swadeshi and non-cooperation. Summary of civil uprisings. In summary, these civil uprisings were widespread. They were led by traditional elites but supported by the masses. Though they were localized, they proved that the British rule was never accepted. They were backward-looking but fierce. They formed the first line of defense against alien rule. Peasant and tribal revolts. Peasant uprisings with religious overtones. Peasant uprisings were protests against evictions. They were protests against the increase in land rents. They were protests against the greedy ways of moneylenders. Their aim was occupancy rights for peasants. These were revolts of the peasants themselves, though in many cases they were led by local leaders. Several significant movements occurred before 1857.
The Narkil Beria Uprising. Mir Nithar Ali, known as Titu Mir, inspired this movement. He led Muslim tenants in West Bengal. They rose against landlords, mainly Hindu. These landlords had imposed a beard tax on the Farizis. They also fought against British indigo planters. This is often considered the first armed peasant uprising against the British. The revolt soon took on a religious hue. It later merged into the Wahhabi movement. The Pagal Panthis. This was a semi-religious group. It constituted mainly the Hajong and Garo tribes. They lived in the Mymensingh district of Bengal. The group was founded by Karam Shah. The tribal peasants organized under his son Tipu. They fought the oppression of the zamindars. From 1825 to 1835, they refused to pay rent above a certain limit. They attacked the houses of zamindars. The movement was eventually suppressed by the government. The Farizi Revolt. The Farizis were followers of a Muslim sect. It was founded by Haji Shariatullah of Faridpur. They advocated radical religious, social and political changes. His son Dadu Mian organized the followers. His aim was to expel the English intruders from Bengal. The sect supported tenants against the zamindars. These disturbances continued from 1838 to 1857. Most Farizis eventually joined the Wahhabi ranks. The Mopla uprisings. These occurred in the Malabar region. The causes were a hike in revenue demand and a reduction of field sizes, coupled with the oppression of officials. 22 rebellions took place between 1836 and 1854. None of these initial revolts were successful. Peasants' role in the 1857 revolt. Peasant participation was active in specific areas, mainly in western Uttar Pradesh. The peasants united with local feudal leaders. They fought together against foreign rule. After the revolt, the plight of the peasants worsened. The British government decided to gain the support of landed classes. They ignored the interests of occupancy peasants. In Awadh, land was restored to the talukdars. Peasants were denied the provisions of the 1859 Bengal Rent Act. In some regions, they had to pay an additional cess as punishment. Tribal revolts, the most violent resistance. Tribal movements were the most frequent. They were the most militant and the most violent of all movements. We categorize them into mainland tribal revolts and frontier tribal revolts in the northeast. Causes of mainland tribal revolts. Mainland rebellions were sparked by land and forest issues. British land settlements affected joint ownership traditions. They disrupted the social fabric. Agriculture was extended in a settled form. Tribals lost their land. There was an influx of non-tribals into these areas. Shifting cultivation in forests was curbed. The government set up reserved forests. They restricted timber use and grazing. This was due to the company's demand for timber, for shipping and for the railways. Exploitation by police, traders and moneylenders aggravated the suffering. Most of these exploiters were outsiders. General laws were abhorred for being intrusive. Christian missionaries interfered with traditional customs. They were perceived as representatives of alien rule. Northeastern frontier tribal revolts. These were different from the mainland. The tribes shared cultural links across the border. They did not concern themselves much with the nationalist struggle. They fought for political autonomy or for complete independence. These were not usually forest-based or agrarian revolts. The tribals generally controlled their land and forests. The British entered these areas much later. These revolts continued for a longer time. Desanskritization movements spread here. The Metis organized a movement between 1891 and 1941. They denounced the malpractices of Neo-Vaishnavite Brahmins. Important tribal movements of the mainland. Paharia's Rebellion, 1778. British expansion led to an uprising in the Rajmahal Hills. The British declared their territory as the Damni Coal area. Chuar Uprising, 1766–72, 1795–1816. Famine and land revenue demands goaded the Chuar tribes. They lived in the Jungle Mahal of Midnapur and Bankura. Jagannath Singh, Zamindar of Ghatsila, rose in 1768. Sardars like Shyam Ganjan, Subla Singh, and Dubraj revolted in 1771. The most significant uprising was under Durjan Singh in 1798. He was a dispossessed zamindar of Raipur. The revolt was brutally suppressed by the British. Kol Mutiny, 1831. The Kols inhabited Chota Nagpur, including Ranchi and Singhbhum. Land was transferred from Kol headmen to outsiders. Under Buddho Bhagat, the Kols killed or burned about 1,000 outsiders. Order was restored only after large-scale military operations. Ho and Munda uprisings, 1820-1837. The Raja of Parahat organized the Ho tribals. They revolted against the occupation of Singhbhum. They were joined by the Mundas in 1831. They protested the new farming revenue policy. The Ho operations continued until 1837. Later in 1899, the Ulgulan broke out under Birsa Munda. The Santhal Rebellion, 1855-56. The Santhals were an agricultural people of the Rajmahal Hills. They faced oppression from zamindars and moneylenders. Under Sidhu and Kanhu, they proclaimed an end to company rule.
They declared the area between Bhagalpur and Rajmahal as autonomous. The rebellion was suppressed by 1856. Khond uprisings, 1837 to 1856. The Khonds lived from Odisha to Andhra Pradesh. Led by Chakra Bisoi, they opposed the suppression of human sacrifice. They also fought against new taxes and the entry of zamindars. Koya revolts. In the eastern Godavari tract, rebellions occurred multiple times between 1803 and 1862. They rose again in 1879 under Toma Sora. Another was led in 1886 by Raja Anantayyar. Bhil revolts. The Bhils lived in the western Ghats. They revolted between 1817 and 1819 due to famine and distress. They rose again in 1825, 1831 and 1846. Later Govind Guru organized them for a Bhil Raj by 1913. Koli risings. The Kolis lived near the Bhils. They rose in 1829, 1839 and during 1844 to 48. They resented large-scale unemployment and the dismantling of their forts. Ramosi risings, hill tribes of the Western Ghats. They lost their livelihoods after the annexation of Maratha territories. They rose under Chittur Singh in 1822, again in 1825 under Umaji Naik and Bapu Trimbakji Sawant. Tribal movements of the Northeast. Khasi Uprising, 1833. The company wanted to build a road through the Khasi Hills. Under Dhirat Singh, the Khasis, Garos and Singhfos organized to drive away strangers. It was suppressed by superior military force in 1833. Singhfos rebellion occurred in Assam in the early 1830s. In 1839, a British political agent was killed. Chief Nirang Fidu led an uprising in 1843. Sepoy mutinies. Sporadic military uprisings took place before 1857. Causes: discrimination in payment and promotions, mistreatment by British officials, refusal of foreign service allowance, religious objections to the General Service Enlistment Act of 1856.
Upper caste sepoys feared the loss of caste by crossing the sea. Important mutinies: Bengal in 1764, Vellore in 1806, protest against the new turban, Barrackpore in 1824, refusal to go to Burma, Grenadier Company in Assam in 1825, Sholapur in 1838, various native infantry units in 1844, 1849, 1850 and 1852. As we look back at these 100 years of struggle, a pattern emerges. These uprisings were massive in participation, yet they remained trapped in their own localities. They were born of local grievances. They were led by semi-feudal leaders who looked backward. They sought to restore a lost past rather than build a modern future. With obsolete weapons and traditional tactics, they stood little chance. They faced the modern musketry and the cold deceptions of the British. Yet, to call them failures would be a historical error. These movements proved that the British authority was never absolute. It was a rule maintained through constant violence. It was met with constant challenge.
These local sparks of rebellion provided the bedrock for everything that followed. They were the essential precursors to the storm of 1857. They remind us that the spirit of freedom did not begin with a single mutiny. It was forged in a century of silent, relentless defiance. If you found the strategic overview helpful, please like, subscribe, and share this journey with your fellow aspirants. If you have any questions regarding what we have discussed today, drop a comment below. I will be personally addressing your doubts to ensure your conceptual clarity is absolute. Until next time, keep studying, stay curious, and I will see you in the next lesson.